realize the failure of the war on drugs when someone tasked with combating it switches sides because he has seen firsthand the complete and utter waste of life, time, money, and resources invested in this losing battle. My next guest once worked for the Texas Department of Public Safety and was the head of a 15-county drug task force. He arrested drug dealers and drug users. But one day you can say he had an epiphany. He tried marijuana. He liked it. He quit being a narc. Barry Cooper is now running for Attorney General of Texas on a pro-gun, pro-pot, pro-family platform. Barry, welcome to Freedom Watch.
Glad to be here, Judge.
What changed your mind from all of the dangers you went through, all of the risk you endured, all of the freedom you impaired, all of the lives you adversely affected, to enforce neo-Victorian drug laws, now to become a champion of the right of people to put into their bodies whatever they want?
Good information. You know, I had been lied to by my parents. I had been lied to by the public school system with their government programs. I had been lied to in the church. They all, you know, told me that anybody who put those kinds of substances in their bodies were crazy and bad, and I believed it. And I got older. I actually married my pot dealer, Candy. She's my current wife and my soulmate. And I was drinking a lot of vodka, and she switched me over to the pot. And marijuana has a way of opening a person's eyes to see the truth. And once I saw the truth, I felt bad for what I had done, arresting all those people.
Is it realistic to expect that in a state like Texas, arguably the most conservative and traditional in the union, even if a tradition is based on false premises, like the traditions of outlawing the use of recreational drugs and privacy, will accept your argument during this campaign that drugs should be made legalized and that you should be in charge of enforcing the laws?
Absolutely, because the citizens of Texas, although we are known as a law and order state, the citizens of Texas are very smart, and they're catching on that we're paying all of these cops to arrest us. We're funding the bill. And they're tired of it, and they see the injustice. They want real criminals behind bars, those that cause harm to persons or property. And we're tired in Texas of having our kids and our cousins and our wives and our husbands placed in a concrete block to help subsidize our private prison industry and the probation departments.
What will it take?
The citizens of Texas get it.
What will it take for people in the United States to understand that we're going through another prohibition again? Prohibition was an utter disaster, which caused the loss of many lives and, by modern-day accounting, billions of dollars and lots of freedom. And we're going through the same thing again. So, question, why is it that we don't wake up and understand that we can't afford another prohibition again in the United States of America?
Well, my answer is controversial. It's a religious issue with the older Americans, and the only reason we're starting to get real debate about the subject now is because some of those older people in power, that generation is dying out. They're actually going to the grave. The more of those type of people that made all these decisions for Americans, the more of them that actually die because they have too much pride to admit they're wrong.
Right.
Or they simply won't dig for the truth on their own. We all know people that are like that. But it's sad to say, but the grave's taking care of them, and I'm not, I don't have compassion for them because of the urgency of our hundreds of thousands of citizens in a cage that they put there. So America's waking up, and part of the reason is with the death of a generation that enacted these crazy laws based on religion.
We're chatting with Barry Cooper, who's running for Attorney General from the state of Texas. Are any of the three Republican candidates for governor, Governor Perry, Senator Hutchison, or Deborah Medina, in any way interested in your platform that people ought to be able to decide for themselves what they put into their own bodies in the privacy of their own home, and it's none of the government's business?
Well, no, any of those three candidates will not endorse me until I gain more popularity, because they are politicians. They would jump on that bandwagon if they felt like it would get them the proper votes. And that's the difference in the people that are getting elected now and real politicians. The people that are getting elected now are going by principles, not what benefits them. You know, Houston just elected an openly gay mayor.
Right.
And Houston incarcerates more people than any city in the world. They have the highest incarceration rates. So we're making progress.
Which is the better argument, Barry? Is it that the government is it the theoretical freedom argument that the government has no right to tell me what to do with my body, that I own my own body and so I can decide what to do with it and what to put into it? Or is it the more practical argument that the reason taxes are so high and jails are so overcrowded and there is so much hatred for law enforcement is because there's so many victimless crimes, and the people who committed these victimless crimes are rotting away in cages?
Well, it's both. Those are both good arguments, along with the prohibition argument. Prohibition doesn't work. My grandparents would have much rather kept going to Jack Daniels to get their whiskey and liquor, but they were forced to go to Al Capone because of prohibition. I would much rather go buy my marijuana cigarettes from Marlboro, but I'm forced to go to the cartels to buy it. Prohibition doesn't work. More people are dying over in Mexico just across our border than in the entire Iraqi war, and it's not marijuana and methamphetamine and cocaine causing them to do it. It's the prohibition against those laws that's causing the war. Prohibition does not work.
You were once in charge of fighting drugs for 15 counties in the state of Texas. Tell me, in your opinion, would the Mexican drug cartels, would the gangs at the border be out of business almost overnight if marijuana were lawful in Texas to use in the privacy of your own home?
Oh, there would be so many wonderful things when marijuana prohibition lifts, and we're on the cuff of it. But yes, it would end that war overnight, because no longer would we have to go to the cartels to get the drugs that Americans want. The government can control it and regulate it and get it from our own government. Let's let our farmers in America cash out on the #1 cash crop in our country above corn, and that's marijuana. Instead, the Mexican growers are getting that money. I think the farmers of America deserve to have that money, just like the farmers that plant the wheat to make beer and liquor and that type of thing. It's just ridiculous, and the younger people in America, like myself, and even some older people, are catching on, and we get it.
Barry Cooper, thanks very much for joining us on Freedom Watch.
Hey, Judge, thanks for having me on your show.
You can catch today's show on foxnews.com/freedomwatch and on Sirius 145, XM 168, or online at foxnewstalk.com at 6 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays. From New York, defending freedom. Until the next time, stay free, America.